ones are as follows. We did grouping of pairs, which is probably the easiest, and you need it even when we do the other ones. So this is a very good tool to have. And visually checking. All you are going to get on the exam is one whole page or 2 pages, and it will say simplify and expand. And then you'll get another page or whatever saying factorizing. It's not going to be grouped into factorizing a quadratic, factorizing, there's none of that. It will literally be factorizing, and then you have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N. Okay, so you need to have your visual checks. Okay, and I've given you these little visual checks along the way. Yeah. 45 minutes. Hence, time is an essence. Okay? All right. So, factorizing by, but you know what you know. Okay? That's all you can do. You know what you know. The more you know, the more you can do. Okay? So, factorizing by grouping in pairs. Awesome tool to have. Not a hard concept at all. It's a lot of steps. You can't skip the steps at this stage. 311. Okay. So, visual check on this. It's long. My first visual check, it's long. It's 4 terms. Okay? If you see something like 4 terms, you should automatically think grouping in pairs.
How many pairs?
At least at 4. Okay? If you have 4, obviously you're going to group in pairs. Okay? That's my first visual check. Second thing, there are things I can group, hence the term grouping in pairs. I can group things together and factorize. That's the reason why it's called grouping in pairs. Math teachers are very literal with their titles. So remember that. I can group things here and factorize, hence I'm going to do it. So visual check first is 4. Okay, so now I'm going to group. Rearrange if you need to. Okay. I'm going to rearrange this because it makes more sense. I'm going to put the 3's together and the 2's together. You don't have to do that because visually, well, you have to for this one because there's nothing to group here. That's an AC. There's no grouping in pronumerals either. That's an AC and that's a BD. There's nothing similar. Okay, so I have to rejig. You don't always have to rejig, but visually, there's nothing to factorize in these two. There's nothing in common. There's no HCF. So I have to rejig. And again, that's not always necessary, but it's happened, okay? So once I've actually rejigged, I then group, put brackets around them. So bracket them and factorize. I did this all in one step. You don't have to. The only missing step is saying, putting this in. Okay, but I mean, I think that's just a waste. We can visually see that. So now, what's my highest common factor between 3AC and 3AD? Well, it's the number 3 and the pronumeral A, because it's common between the two. We know how to find a HCF between 2 things. So that comes outside my bracket, and I tell myself in my head, 3A times something gives me 3AC. What is it? C. 3A times something gives me 3AD. D. I do the same for here. What's my visual check here that I know that I'm on the right track? What's my visual check? Yes, these 2 brackets are the same. And again, it doesn't make a difference what the order is, only if it's a negative, it makes a difference. So this doesn't really make a difference. Because they're both positive, so we're okay. So my visual check, great. We're on the right path. I've got it.
Did you just like now put 3A plus 2B?
Yeah, that's my last step. My last step, I'm just showing my visual check. Factorize it, that's my common. Bring it out, everything left over, bam, done. What else can I do? If I have time, if you're double checking your exam and you have time, which I highly doubt it, but if you have time, what can you do on these questions, Jordan? Foil it. Okay, very quickly foil it, and you can do it quite in your head. Very quickly, do it, foil it if you have time. Okay, that's the last thing I want you to do when you're going through. So no one in that exam should be sitting there going, I'm done early. Nah, you've got things to do. Okay?
So you take out one of the C plus D's, that would be the first one, and the first.
Because it's the common factor.
So why did you put a square there? Because there is two of them.
No, it's a common factor. It's like saying 3a, this is, no, don't interrupt yet, 2b, and this is a d. How would I factorize that? What's the common factor? That's a d, and that's a d. What's the common factor? That's like a d.
Okay. But in that, your second step, you have
And then I've grouped, because I'm factorizing this. How would I factorize that? D comes out. What's left over?
3a plus 2b.
That's exactly what's left over, 3a plus 2b.
Okay.
Hence the term factorizing. Yep. Got it? Okay. Are we good with this? Grouping of two squares? Yep.
I'm just wondering, since the common product is C and D,
Mm-hmm.
so from well, C and D and then D and C, you still add them. You could have done actually like this. You got 3A, C plus C, and then 2B, D plus C. So
It's the same thing.
still add them.
What do you mean still add them?
We just still do the same brackets.
Yeah, because it's the same thing. They're both positives. Doesn't make a difference what order they're on. They're both positives.
Which one should you go with?
Doesn't. They're the same thing.
If the bottom was bottom final product, which one should you use? It doesn't really matter. You just go D plus C.
Doesn't make a difference. It's the same thing. Yeah.
So can you put the 3a plus 2b in front of this? Doesn't matter.
Doesn't make a difference. I wouldn't, because I like process. I like to know my factors always come in front.
So we cross out one d plus c and then the other one. Okay.
Because that's my common factor. That's what comes out in front of a bracket. If I'm doing normal factorizing, that's what I do. That's the process of factorizing, right? Factorize this for me. Factorize that for me.
A 3b plus 2c. Okay.
Where's my brackets go?
Alright, so A, then brackets. 3b plus 2c.
So you just asked me, can I put this in front of that A?
Oh. Okay, that's just why do we have brackets around c plus d?
Because that's my common factor. This is the common factor. Just like here, the common factor was A, that goes in front of the bracket.
So can I just put c, d, 3a plus 2b?
No, because it's the whole thing. It's not just it's that whole thing. So always put your factor in a bracket. It's like saying this one could go in a bracket. That A could go in a bracket.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. That's weird.
Do you get what I'm saying?
So the things that are inside the brackets in the second step are always a common.
That's my visual check. If these are common, I've done it right.
Okay, the two things are exactly the same.
Yeah.
What happens if one's positive, one's negative?
Then you've done something wrong. Then you factorized it wrong.
Okay.
Then you need to rejig the negatives and positives.
Put the two things that are on the outside of the brackets in the second. Okay, yeah.
Sure? Good? 100%? Good. Okay, let's try a harder one, and then we'll move on because we don't have much time. Harder one, harder one, harder one. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Joseph, what do I do? What do I do? So? You weren't listening for a reason because you know this stuff. If you knew this stuff, then you would be listening. What do I do? Cyrus is going to help you. Yes. This is by now, this should be happening like this. What you should be spending time on is the hard stuff. This is not hard. Yes.
4km minus 6kp.
Why are we grouping those two together? Could you not leave it?
No, because
Well, because don't you know like the symbols? Yeah, you could leave it there.
Could you leave it though? I'm asking you.
Oh, you could leave it there.
Yeah, but you want to rejig it? I can't remember what I did. Yeah, I left it. Okay, you want to rejig it? Let's rejig it. Go for it. Tell me.
It says 4km
Yep.
minus 6km
Yep.
plus 6nm
Yep.
minus 9nm.
Okay, cool. Yep.
And you go 4k. Yeah, 4k.
What's the highest common fact? 2 what?
2k.
Yep.
And brackets 2m minus 3p.
Good.
And then plus 3m in brackets 2m minus 3p.
Good.
And then
My bad. My bad.
No, other one.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
so you got 2k plus 3m in brackets. And then 2m minus 3p.
Why do you guys love putting the factors second? That's fine. You'll still get it right. It's fine. Got it. Yep. Okay. That's how quick I want to see it. Yes? Good job.